What's up guys, duarktikhq with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we are going to talk about Omega Red and everything related with him, T4s, ISO 8, team positioning, best compositions for Blitz, if he's gonna be good on the other game modes like Arena Raid, Dark Dimension, Avengers Tower, Scourges, Cosmic Crucible Arena, and so on. So we are going to talk about everything related with Omega Red. We have the second pass of Omega Red going on, so I will assume that many people will be unlocking him, and we are going to talk about everything related with him, making sure that you don't waste any resources and you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. So if you like the information on this video, like always, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and let's get started. Okay, so Omega Red is a villain global mutant controller, Weapon X, Legendary, Resolute and Rebelled. Resolute and Rebelled, it was two tags that were used for some events, so you can completely ignore it. And as I just mentioned, he is part of the Weapon X team, even that he has a lot of flexibility. So Omega Red, in terms of stats, is a legendary character, as I just mentioned, and he has huge stats. So in terms of health, he has 818,000, but this is thanks because of his passive that gives him 50% more health. In war, it also gives 50% more health to Weapon X allies, but outside of war, it only gives health to himself. In terms of damage, he has 35,000, which is not the highest, but the good thing about Omega Red is that he has very high multipliers, so even that his base damage is not the highest, compared like with Star-Lord T'Challa or with Phyla-Vell, he still does a ton of damage. His armor is 26,000, which is huge, it's top tier. Focus also huge, top tier, 17,000, even that he might have some problems in terms of focus sometimes. Then we have resistance, 15,000, which is very good, and the speed is 120. He has no additional crit chance, crit damage, dodge chance or block amount. He requires 3 sets of mini uniques, and that's very good. It's not the cheapest, but it's at decent price, especially for a character that has so much power and utility. Okay, so those are the stats of Omega Red. Now let's take a look at his abilities and the T4s. So when you do the T4 on the basic, you are increasing the multiplier on single target by 60%. Like I said, the multipliers for him are pretty high at 320%, and on top of that you are stealing 5% additional health from the enemies. This ability is just huge, and it gives him a ton of sustain. This bypasses heal block, and if you have the ISO 8 attack striker, you are also going to trigger this ability, so this gives him a ton of health. This T4 is one of the best that you can give for Omega Red. Now, in terms of the special 3 energy comes full, applies trauma and ability block, so very powerful, and also attacks the adjacent targets for 450% damage with the T4. Like I said, very high multipliers, so even that he doesn't have the highest damage, the damage output is going to be very strong. Now, because this is a 3 energy cooldown ability, because it has such a high multiplier, the damage per turn of Omega Red with this ability is going to be very high. So even that this is not one of those essential T4s because it increases the utility, if you are thinking about increasing the damage per turn of your team, this T4 is definitely going to help. Now we have the ultimate. 5 energy comes only with 3, so it's only available on the second turn, and when you do the T4, you flip all the positive effects on the enemies into negative effects, and you do an additional 100% damage to all enemies. Now once again we have a very high increase on the multiplier, it goes from 330 to 430, and we go from flipping 3 positive effects into flipping all. It's not very common, the situations where you flip Al. Mostly it's on Alliance Wars. Outside of Alliance Wars, it's not super important, but it's a nice increase in damage, very high multiplier for this ability. Once again, it attacks all enemies for 430% damage, and if they have defense up, it will flip into defense down and it will give double damage. So as you can see, this ability is just huge. Now, in terms of T4 recommendations, it's not essential unless you are talking about war. For war, this is 100% required. Outside of Alliance Wars, it's very good T4, but it's not required. Finally, we have his passive, and when you do the T4, you are increasing the max health for Omega Red from 20% to 50%, which is just huge. And on spawn, if he has 3 or more Weapon X allies, lower the damage of the enemies by 15%. This is not something very common. You can use his whole team in Alliance Wars, you can use his whole team on Avengers Tower, you can use his whole team in Cosmic Crucible Arena and all that good stuff. But in terms of raids, right now the raids don't allow for using the whole team or at least 3 Weapon X allies, so it's a nice T4, but it's not one that you require as well. It's nice to have, but like I said, it only gives additional health and lowers the damage on very specific situations. For example, in Blitz, you are not going to use the full team. In raids, you are not going to use the full team. It's just for Alliance Wars. In Arena, you also don't use the full team. Very specific situations, but it definitely makes a difference. So this is a T4 that you want to do down the line. Priority is the basic, then you can do you can do the basic first, then do the passive, then do the ultimate, and finally do the special because it has such a low cooldown. Now, in terms of ISO weight for this guy, you definitely want to use him as a striker because he is going to steal this additional health. So in one attack with a basic, you can steal 20% of the max health of one enemy, and many times that's enough to heal up entirely Omega Red. If you are facing Alliance Wars when they have the Medbay and all the defensive bonuses, or when you are facing in Dark Dimension or even in raids, this 20% health still can heal Omega Red by quite a lot. In very specific situations, for example when your Omega Red is way too low and you are trying to use him on the raids, Doom 2.3, you might think about using him as a skirmisher because he doesn't have enough focus to land consistently the ability block with his special and with his ultimate on Doctor Doom, which is a very common situation. So if your Omega Red is not the biggest, if he doesn't have the highest red stars, it's something that you might consider. And in terms of positioning of the character, because we are not using the entire team for most of the time, he doesn't have a great amount of resistance, so you always want to keep him in a corner. If he gets some kind of blind, stun or slow or anything like this, it's not good for him. The defense downs is not a problem, but offense down, slow, it's very problematic for Omega Red, so keep him in a corner as much as you can. Okay, now that we talk about T4s, ISO weight and the T position for Omega Red, let's talk about in which game modes this guy is going to be good in. And let's be honest, he's the best legendary right now. He's one of the few characters that deserves 7 red stars because he's so good, and he's going to be good in almost every single game mode. In Blitz, he can carry almost any characters with him. I use him together with the Wakanda because he's so powerful, he can carry the entire team with him. In terms of Arena, there are a few situations where you can use him in Arena and he will apply ability block to the Eternals, and because of the trauma, the Eternals are not able to clear the ability block, which is something that is very special about him. In terms of raids, you can use him in most raids, Doom 1 and Doom 2. On Doom 2, he does not work on the first node, but on the second node and on the third node he works. He's amazing there. I have guides on this on my YouTube, you can check the playlists. So in Rage, very strong character. In terms of other game modes, Alliance Wars, of course, on his own team or by himself, but you should use him with his own team. He's just amazing. And this is something that I need to mention, because some people, like, they don't want to invest on Silver Samurai or Sabertooth or whatever. That's fine. You can drop Omega Red anywhere and it's going to be amazing. You can make a team for Alliance Wars offense with the Brotherhood and put Omega Red there, and he's going to destroy the enemies. So this is a character that is very flexible. You can put him anywhere and it's going to be amazing, but of course even better when he's together with his team. Now, other game modes, we already talked about Alliance Wars. So in terms of Dark Dimension, this guy is amazing. He completely destroys Dark Dimension, and his ability blocks and positive effects flipping, also turn rewinding the enemies and applying offense down to the enemies is so useful for Dark Dimension. It's just amazing. And the same goes for every other game mode, let's be honest. Whether it will be in the future Crucible Cosmic Arena, Cosmic Crucible Arena, or whether it is in some kind of Scourge event or Avengers Tower. This guy is so good on Avengers Tower, he's just great. And like I mentioned before, because he only costs 3 sets of mini uniques, he's definitely a character that you want to get to Teal Gear as soon as possible, because when you get to the Teal Gear you get a lot more damage, focus and resistance, which is one of the problems that Omega Red has. And like I mentioned, he is one of the few characters that is worth having at 7 red stars, because he benefits from all those red stars in terms of armor, focus, resistance, damage, HP, health steal, and so on. He's just amazing. He's definitely a character that deserves all the investment that you can get on him. So yeah guys, that's going to be the video. I hope you guys enjoyed everything about Omega Red. You can always find this information early on my Discord. You have all the T4 recommendations, the ISO weight, the gear requirements, and in which game modes he's going to be good on. And you can find the link for my Discord in the description of the video. And good luck for everyone who is going to unlock him today. He is probably the best character in the game. Individually, of course, the Eternals are better, but they are a duo. Individually, I think Omega Red completely crushes the competition, and is definitely worth all the investment that you put on him. He's going to be great on all the game modes. So if you like the information on this video, make sure you smash that like button, and if you found the video helpful, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and I will catch you guys later.